In today's news, President announces reforms to thalassemia care. President pledges decisive action to end prolonged pre-trial detention. And government reports 1.57 billion rupiah budget surplus as finances improve.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the English News Bulletin on MMTV. I'm Aisha Tashkil with the news this hour. President Dr. Mohammad Muiz has announced that the National Thalassemia Center will soon be transferred to the Malay Group of Hospitals.
Speaking during the 5th episode of the Rakyat Tunaiku podcast, President Dr. Muiz revealed that the Thalassemia Center will soon be integrated into the Malay Group of Hospitals. The Maldivian Blood Service MBS will also be brought under the same hospital group, aiming to streamline services and enhance care coordination. He noted that the Thalassemia Center has already been relocated to the Orentia building in Hulu Malé, where it will now operate under the Hulu Malé facility of the hospital group. The president stated that the new location offers expanded space and improved resources, with the Ministry of Finance and Planning already authorized to allocate the necessary funds. Recruitment for additional staff is currently in progress. President Dr. Muiz assured the public that thalassemia services in the atolls will continue without disruption under the new management structure. He also disclosed the government's ongoing plans to construct a dedicated thalassemia hospital in Hulu Malé. Agreements with investors are nearing finalization, and construction is expected to commence soon. The president emphasized that bone marrow transplant services will be a core component of the hospital's operations. As part of the government's commitment to providing such services, 14 children are currently undergoing bone marrow transplants, with plans to extend this life-saving treatment to more patients in the future. Marking World Thalassemia Day, President issued a message calling for children living with thalassemia to be granted equal rights, educational opportunities, and fair access to employment. He underscored the importance of societal inclusion and urged relevant authorities to prioritize the health needs and regular treatment of these children. The president also highlighted the alarming prevalence of thalassemia in the Maldives relative to its population size, reinforcing the urgency of raising awareness and improving access to care. Calling on the public to donate blood, he emphasized the spiritual fulfillment such acts of kindness bring. He urged all Maldivians to support the government's efforts to provide thalassemia-affected children with hope, resilience, and a brighter future. President Dr. Muiz encouraged the nation to draw inspiration from the courage and perseverance of these children, responding with compassion and solidarity to ease their burdens. In closing, he reaffirmed his administration's determination to bring comfort and well-being to affected children and their families through continued government initiatives that he noted present the realization of campaign pledges made during the 2023 presidential election to address long-standing challenges in thalassemia care.
Of Maldives 2.0 initiative is the eradication of corruption through comprehensive digital transformation. Speaking during the 5th episode of the Rakyat Tunaiku podcast, the president highlighted the ambitious 4-year project as a cornerstone of his administration's governance reforms. The president indicated that the initiative would be implemented in collaboration with the government of Estonia, widely recognized as a global leader in digital innovation. He announced that the Maldives Digital Transformation Summit, scheduled to begin on Friday evening, would serve as the official launch of the program. The summit will feature participation from a delegation of Estonian experts, including an architect of Estonia's own digital revolution. President Dr. Muiz expressed his appreciation to Estonia for its willingness to share expertise and extend technical support. He described the Maldives 2.0 initiative as an effort to streamline public services, automate administrative processes, and create an integrated digital infrastructure linking government bodies, essential service providers, and private sector institutions. According to the president, a central aim of the project is to minimize opportunities for abuse of power by enhancing transparency and facilitating easier access to information. He noted that work is currently underway to draft the legislative framework required to underpin the digital transformation. The president stated that by the year 2030, the digital economy is expected to account for 15% of the Maldives' total production. He further affirmed that the government is committed to realizing the goals of Maldives 2.0 within a relatively short period, aspiring to accomplish in 4 years what Estonia achieved over 25. He added that Estonian officials have conveyed their confidence in the feasibility of this target, drawing on their own experience. The Supreme Court has decided not to proceed with the appeal submitted by former Controller General of Immigration, Mohammad Shaman Wahid, who remains in custody pending the conclusion of his trial on allegations of abuse of authority for personal financial benefit. Shaman was arrested on March 22nd alongside 3 other immigration officers in connection with a case involving the alleged extortion of money from expatriate workers. The criminal court initially ordered a 15-day detention, a decision that his legal team attempted to appeal to the High Court on March 27th. However, the High Court's registrar declined to accept the case. Following a request for review, a panel of 3 High Court judges overturned the registrar's decision, stating that Shaman's appeal raised legitimate legal questions. Nevertheless, when the initial 15-day detention period expired, the criminal court ruled for Shaman to remain in custody until the end of the trial. The High Court upheld its decision, finding no grounds for alteration. Shaman's legal team then escalated the matter to the Supreme Court, which has now declined to accept the case. According to the Maldives Police Service, the case centers on allegations that immigration officers acting under Shaman's directive abused their authority by raiding a residence housing expatriates, detaining several individuals and confiscating cash. Police said one expatriate taken into custody with 530,000 rupiah was released early the next morning on Shaman's orders. During a search of Shaman's residence, investigators reportedly discovered 257,475 rupiah, 10,000 USD, foreign currencies, and various electronic devices. Authorities suspect the funds were obtained through illicit means from expatriate workers. The case remains under investigation. Commissioner of Police Ali Shujao has officially retired from the Maldives Police Service with honours following a career spanning nearly 2 decades in law enforcement. A ceremony marking his retirement was held on Wednesday at the Iskandar building, presided over by Minister of Homeland Security and Technology Ali Ihsan. During the ceremony, Shujao was presented with an honorary commemorative plaque and a retirement card. The plaque, awarded by the Maldives Police Service to honorably retired commissioners, features the colours and medals received during service, along with elements of the commissioner's uniform and official identification. The retirement card given to all officers retiring honorably serves as a form of identification and grants access to police premises. Shujao began his career in the police service in September 2006, following 8 years in the education sector. He was promoted to a commissioned rank in 2008 and went on to serve in various key areas, including training, operations, intelligence, and investigations. He also held several leadership and management roles within the organization. Throughout his career, Shujao represented the Maldives and the police service at professional forums, both nationally and internationally. He was appointed Commissioner of Police on December 24, 2023 by President Dr. Mohammad Muiz. Shujao resigned on 26 April 2025 and has now formally concluded his service. The Maldives Pension Administration Office has reopened applications for the position of chairperson of its board after the initial call from April 29 to May 7th failed to attract a sufficient number of candidates. In a statement, the office clarified that the individuals who previously submitted applications do not need to reapply. A selection committee will shortlist 3 candidates whose names will then be forwarded to the Capital Market Development Authority to verify compliance with eligibility requirements. The final appointment will be made by the President of the Maldives. Interested candidates may obtain further details from the Pension Office and submit applications via the official email address before the deadline on 2 p.m. on May 14th, 2025. Established in 2009, the Maldives Pension Administration Office oversees the country's pension schemes. It is governed by an 8-member board comprising representatives from regulatory agencies and relevant ministries. We have more news coming up after this short break. Stay tuned.
In here today.
Of course, bro. It's the kickoff. It's the new Premier League season. I'll be ready. Get loud. This is new faces, latest drip, and fresh trims. It's time to believe. The greatest league in the world is back.
Brought to you by MediaNet.
Kafa, tiga pocket ennetunnu kontaga phone Kafa passport atungi fangoraniko gillijiayo. Kafe kanitudani foshi gillijiayo.
Kokko hasnuwe kafe dani hajjen umra plan nagag. Konkamaka kafa haswamvi. Ituru malumat Elite mobile app adi myelite.mv.
Elite Ailaya marhaba.
Welcome back. In more local news, President Dr. Mohamed Moise has pledged decisive action to end prolonged pre-trial detention in the Maldives, a concern he describes as both urgent and unacceptable.
Speaking on the latest episode of the Rayya Thunaik podcast, the president reaffirmed his administration's commitment to tackling this issue through both immediate and long-term measures. President Dr. Moise stressed that the only lasting solution lies in expediting investigations. While investigations fall under the judiciary's remit, he said the government is ready to enhance its support by improving infrastructure and providing necessary resources. He also pledged continued administrative assistance to help the judiciary resolve outstanding cases more swiftly. The president pointed to ongoing developments, including the construction of a new court complex in Holomale, designed to facilitate simultaneous trials. He revealed that more than 300 individuals are currently in prolonged pre-trial detention, some for over 6 years, and called this deeply troubling. Reiterating his manifesto promise, President Dr. Moise spoke of his plans to establish a comprehensive prison system that upholds human dignity. A new detention facility is in the works, with feasibility studies now underway. While this is a long-term project, he confirmed that progress is being made. In the short term, the Maldives Police Service, the Prosecutor General's Office, and the Attorney General's Office are reviewing around 1/3 of current pre-trial cases. This includes options for monitored release, such as electronic tagging, especially in cases involving minor offences or insufficient evidence. He also highlighted the need to reform the bail system, labeling it expensive and inaccessible. The proposed reforms, he said, will only apply to non-major crimes, excluding serious offences like child sexual abuse. The president's comments come in the wake of his meeting with advocates on Wednesday, who raised concerns over lengthy detentions without trial. They proposed solutions such as supervised release and called for improved detention conditions. In response, the president reiterated his plans for a structural bail system and confirmed upcoming discussions with key legal bodies to fast-track reforms. In a recent press conference, President Dr. Moise also noted that relocating judicial offices will help ease overcrowding and improve workflow as space limitations at institutions like the Prosecutor General's Office have contributed to delays.
The government has reported a state budget surplus of 1.57 billion rupiah as of May 1st, 2025, a significant turnaround from the 2.12 billion deficit recorded during the same period last year.
According to the Ministry of Finance and Planning's weekly fiscal development report, the overall balance, including financing and interest costs, stood at 1.57 billion rupiah. The primary balance, which excludes financing and interest expenses, reached 3.23 billion rupiah. This marks a more than six-fold increase from the 449.8 million rupiah reported in the same period in 2024. Tax revenue made up 78% of total revenue, and grants with non-tax revenue accounting for 21% and grants contributing 1%. The largest sources of tax revenue were the tourism goods and services tax, general goods and services tax, and business and property tax. Among non-tax sources, the main contributors were registration and license fees, followed by rent from resorts and the airport development fee. On the expenditure side, the highest spending was recorded in grants, contributions, and subsidies. This includes spending on Asanda, council grants, and other subsidies. This was followed by expenditure on salaries and wages, and then employee allowances. In terms of budget utilization by office, the Ministry of Education recorded the highest expenditure, followed by the National Social Protection Agency and SPA and the Maldives Police Service.
The National Thalassemia Centre has officially been relocated to the newly developed Orangea building in Hulumale, with the facility now handed over to the Ministry of Health. The relocation marks the completion of work carried out by the Maldives National Defence Force MNDF, which was tasked with finalising the project earlier this year. The MNDF confirmed the handover via its official X account, stating that all assigned tasks had been completed. As part of the transition, the MNDF also organised a blood donation campaign at the new facility. The Orangea project had faced prolonged delays after the initial contractor failed to meet the required deadlines. In response, the government handed over the remaining work to the MNDF on March 28th. The decision was announced by President Dr. Mohamed Moise on March 27th, who committed to completing the facility within a month in time for it to be inaugurated on World Thalassemia Day. The Orangea is intended to replace the National Thalassemia Centre as a dedicated healthcare facility for thalassemia patients. The MNDF introduced several design modifications to make the centre more child-friendly and led the project through its service corps with support from multiple internal departments. Mould Sports Limited MPL has reissued a call for applications to hire a consultant to carry out the Environmental Impact Assessment EIA, geotechnical, hydrographic and bathymetric surveys of Thilafushi Port. Interested candidates can apply until May 13, 2025. The announcement follows an earlier call in April that failed to attract sufficient interest. The renewed effort is part of the plan to relocate Malé Commercial Port to Thilafushi to address severe congestion issues and limited space in the current harbour. The relocation, which will be executed in phases over the next 2 years, aims to significantly improve operational efficiency. MPL has said the current 5 to 9 day turnaround time for offloading cargo vessels will be reduced to just 2 to 3 days once the new port becomes operational. In addition to Malé Commercial Harbour, North Harbour and the Thilafushi Jetty Terminal will also be moved to Thilafushi. The existing port in Hulumale will be repurposed into a transshipment hub once full operation begin in Thilafushi. The plan to move the port operations to Thilafushi was initially proposed in 2013. Although converted into a joint venture under the previous administration, the current government has reaffirmed the relocation strategy as a priority. The Ministry of Finance and Planning has opened the bidding process for the construction of 18 additional classrooms at Ghazi School in Hulumale in a move aimed at addressing the growing demand for school space in the area. According to the ministry, the project is part of a broader effort to ease overcrowding in schools across Hulumale, where pressure on infrastructure has increased significantly due to population growth. The Ministry of Finance announced that the contractors will be selected through the National Competitive Bidding NCB process. Interested parties are required to submit their bids via the BLM portal before May 25, 2025. The bid opening is scheduled for May 26 and a bid security of 121,000 rupiah must be submitted as part of the application. The Ministry of Education stated that schools in Hulumale are currently facing the highest demand in the country. In response to this, the ministry has also announced plans to begin construction of 2 new schools in Hulumale within the year to further ease the burden on existing facilities. And with that, we conclude the English News Bulletin. Thank you for watching and have a very pleasant day ahead.